Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to show you guys how to make this delicious and spicy chicken curry. Now, I've shared many chicken curry recipes on my channel before. This is just another addition with a few little twists here and there. In this video, I'm going to be adding potatoes into my chicken curry, and I'm also going to be testing out my new gas stove that I have outside. So I'm pulled out one of my old Guyana Karud's with the round bottoms, and I'm going to prepare this delicious and simple chicken curry. So follow me along step by step, and let's put this dish together. So you guys, please bear with me. I didn't realize that it was getting so dark so fast outside, so the lighting is probably not the best throughout the entire video, but it was my first time recording a recipe outside, so you know what, it was a learning experience and a first time experience, but trust me, the food was amazing and the dish is going to come out perfect anyway, so I definitely hope you give it a try. So the first thing that I'm doing before I start my cooking process is I'm going to pick some fresh seasonings. So I have some thick leaf thyme that I'm picking right now, and I also have some scallions that I just picked. Again, these are from my little herb garden that I have going on in my backyard. These are nice fresh things to put in our curry today. So I'm going to give these a rinse and then we can put this curry together. So here are all of the ingredients that I have today. I have some garlic cloves as well as some wiri peppers. You can use any type of hot pepper that you prefer. And again, all of the ingredients and measurements will be down below in the description box, just like with any of my videos. And to the right of my mortar and pestle, I have my thick leaf thyme, some sliced onions, I have my scallions on that little chopping board, some oil to put this dish together, some cumin seeds, my curry powder and masala in the bowl in the back, I have some salt and pepper in my little bamboo container in the middle, and I have some water. And of course, we're missing the chicken. I have that inside, and that's just sitting until I'm ready for it. Now, whenever I make any type of curry, I like to start off with a fresh seasoning paste. So in my mortar and pestle, I have my garlic and the hot pepper, and I'm gonna go in with my thick leaf thyme. If you don't have thick leaf thyme, you could use regular American thyme, or you can even use the dried stuff that you usually find in the bottles from the grocery store. So I'm putting them into my mortar and pestle, and I'm gonna pound them out really, really well. Once you finish pounding the garlic, the hot pepper, and the thick leaf thyme, you're going to mix it up with your curry powder and your masala. And I also like to add in a little bit of water just to loosen it up, as you guys see here. Also, I wanted to mention, if you're cooking using an outdoor gas stove, or even if you have a gas stove inside versus an electric stove, I recommend that you add in a little bit more water into this mixture just to make it loose, because when you're cooking on an electric stove, I find it doesn't get as hot as the gas stoves do. And since we're getting all of our prep work out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and chop up all of those scallions that we freshly picked from my garden. These are going to go in some towards the middle of the cooking process and some towards the end of the cooking process, just to keep building up all of those flavors. So I have my curry heating up on about a medium-high heat, and I'm going in with a good amount of canola oil. You can use whatever type of light tasting oil you have on hand though. Now, as soon as that oil starts to heat up a little bit, you're going to go in with some cumin seeds. And once you add those cumin seeds in, you're going to let them roast up in that hot oil until they get a little bit dark golden brown. And if any of you guys are wondering, this curry is one that my grandmother has had for about over 20 years at this point, and she gifted it to me so this way I could use it in my cooking. It is things like this that I truly enjoy using in my kitchen just because it has memories to it, and it's cooked a lot of delicious meals within our family. So once those cumin seeds get nice and dark brown and the oil is even hotter than before, you're going to go in with that spice paste that you made before with your masala, the curry powder, and that paste you made with the garlic, hot pepper, and the thick leaf thyme. Once you add that in, you just want to keep on stirring. You're going to see that it splatters up a lot. Just be careful, don't put your face close to it, and just be careful as you're adding it in. So I'm going to keep on stirring it, and I'm going to cook this mixture for about 5 to 6 minutes until all the oil begins to separate back from that spice mixture and it dries up a little bit more. Now you have to be very careful as you're cooking the curry paste, especially if you're using a gas stove or an outdoor stove. The reason why I say that is because these things are sort of quick to burn with such a high flame. So not only do you want to moderate that flame, but you need to keep stirring so this way nothing sticks and begins to burn at the bottom. Because if it begins to burn, these spices tend to get very bitter, and then your curry is sort of messed up in the end and doesn't have a really nice taste. After about that first minute of the curry chunking in the pot with that oil or frying away, you're going to go in with a little bit of salt. The reason why I like to add salt during this stage of the cooking process is so this way we begin to build up the flavors of the curry and it has a lot of flavor running throughout. So I'm going to mix the salt in and I'm going to continue to let it cook until I reach about 6 minutes and the curry mixture is cooked out properly. So it's been about 6 minutes at this point. As you guys can see, all of the oil around the edges is coming out of the spice mixture again and being released. Now once you see that and it's dried up a little bit, that's your indication that the curry mixture is cooked down properly. So at that point, you're going to go in with all of your sliced onions and half of your sliced scallions. Now a lot of people when they make curry, they will put the onions and scallions first to fry up in the oil and then they will put the curry paste on top of it. I just prefer to put the curry paste first before my onions. That's just my own preference, but if you want to do it the other way, feel free to do it the other way as well. So I'm just going to mix these up and allow it to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes until those onions and scallions cook down really well. So my onions and scallions have been in here for about 3 minutes at this point, and this is sort of what you want it to look like. All of the onions have cooked down a little bit and softened slightly. All of the scallions have started to get a little mushier as well, and all of these things are just going to keep on adding flavor to our curry. If you ever notice when I make any dish, I never just toss everything into the pan at once. I like to layer things so this way you can get a nice complex flavor versus something that just tastes very, very one note. Once the onions have cooked down a little bit, you're going to go in with all of your chicken. Now this is chicken that I cut up and I washed and I'm going to add it right into my pot. A lot of people, they like to season their chicken beforehand. Honestly, I don't really care to do that just because I like to cook my chicken right away. I wash it and cook it right away. Now a lot of people are against that. If you feel like seasoning it and want to go through all that extra work, feel free to do so, but my curry paste has all of the flavor I need to put together the perfect chicken curry. Once you've added all of your chicken in, you want to go ahead and stir it really well, get it all coated with those spices and the cooked onions and all of those good things in the pot. Now, as you guys can see, it's starting to catch just a little bit at the bottom. That is totally fine because once you add the chicken in, the chicken is going to begin to release all of its own natural juices and it's going to deglaze that bottom of the pot, but you have to keep stirring. It's been about 5 minutes since I added my chicken into the pot with all the spices. As you guys can see, the chicken has released juices enough so this way it could deglaze the bottom of the pot. If your chicken is not releasing any water and if you see it sticking up too much, you want to go in with just a few tablespoons of water just to deglaze the pan a little bit. Now my chicken has been bunjing or cooking down with all of those spices for about 12 minutes at this point. I find that the regular chicken that you buy from the grocery store cooks a little differently than the fresh fowl that you get from the live chicken farms. So this one releases a little less water, I find, but whatever time your chicken takes to release the water, just go ahead and keep on stirring it. Make sure the chicken releases all of its natural juices and then allow those natural juices to evaporate back. Basically, you want to see the chicken come back to frying all in the spices really nice and dry, having everything cling to those spices, and you're going to see the oil start to release again. So as you guys can see, everything's catching a little bit at the bottom, the chicken's nice and dry. This is our indication that it's time to move on to the next process. Once the chicken dries back up and all of those spices are clinging to the chicken for dear life, you're going to go in with your potatoes. Now, if you don't want to add potatoes, you can totally omit them, that's totally fine. But I like to have potatoes in my chicken curry or any of my meat curries. I just find that it really adds to the whole dish. So I'm adding some potatoes in. I just cut them in half. These are some smaller sized potatoes. And we like to add them into the pot with the chicken as it's frying up, just because it starts to add some flavor to those potatoes and they don't taste bland by the time the dish is done. So I'm going to fry this for just about 1 minute and then we can move on. Now the potatoes have been frying up or bunjing with the chicken for just about 1 minute now, just to get a little bit of flavor in them. And at this point, I'm going to deglaze the pan with some water. Now, as you guys can see, once you add that water in and you stir it up a little bit, all of those beautiful brown bits that you see on the sides and the bottom of the pot, they are going to come off and they're just going to make that curry sauce or the gravy nice and rich and dark brown, just like a good chicken curry or any meat curry should be. So I'm going to keep on stirring and I'll show you guys what it looks like when I've deglazed the entire pot. So I've stirred all of that water around. I added in enough water to go ahead and cover the chicken just because those potatoes need to boil really well. I scraped down the sides really well and deglaze everything. And as you guys can see, that gravy looks super rich and it's nice and brown, has a perfect color. So I'm going to cover it and let it cook until those potatoes are nice and tender. Now every 3 to 4 minutes you want to go into the pot and stir it up really well. As you guys can see, the potatoes are starting to cook down for the most part, you just want to make sure that they're nice and tender on the inside. They need a couple more minutes, but the reason why you need to keep on checking is because when you're using gas stoves or outdoor stoves especially, that water tends to evaporate really, really fast. So if you need to add in more water as the process goes before the potatoes are done cooking or before the chicken is done cooking, feel free to add in some more water. Now it's been about 20 minutes for me. My chicken is beautifully cooked. The potatoes are nice and tender. They're not overcooked at all. Remember, you don't want them to overcook or else they're going to make your curry very, very thick, and you don't want that. So once your curry is done, you give it a quick taste for salt and any other seasonings you may want to adjust. You're going to go in with the rest of those fresh scallions that we had chopped up. That's going to give it an overall brightness and really make that curry come together. So I'm going to take it off of the heat and I'm going to get ready to serve it. As you guys can see, that curry has a beautiful dark brown color. It is nice and thickish with all of the potatoes, and the chicken is honestly just falling off of the bone. It is super succulent and I cannot wait to dig in. So if you enjoyed my chicken curry recipe today, please go ahead and give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet, and of course leave your comments down below. And if you guys would like to see me cooking outside more using my outdoor stove, please leave your comments down below and let me know, and I can try to do some more of that for you guys. So I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye everyone.